Hey there, everyone. My name's Andrew. This is the Canadian Starships live stream. Let me know if you can see me and you hear me. I can already see that I forgot to turn something on, so give me one moment. One moment. There we go. That's a little bit better. You can see my face a bit better. But can you see me? Can you hear me? Leave a comment in the comment section. I'm going to switch over to the comment section. No audio. There we go. Yeah. I had it muted for a reason, and I forgot to unmute it again. So we should be good to go. Well, welcome, everyone. There is some stuff to do tonight. I'm kind of excited about progress that's coming along. We've gotten past what I would say is the long haul portion of the entire build, and that's the R&D on getting the armature done. I have the metal supports into the pylons on both pylon sections. So now we can move over to lighting and construction. The lighting and the construction on the 650 Enterprise D is going to happen simultaneously. We're going to be lighting parts, assembling parts, and basically building it from the post up. You may remember that I have the lower secondary hull of one of them already mounted to the armature. There's some more work I still need to do to get that to be really tight in there. It's not easy getting those oddly shaped parts connected to the armature in that area, but we're going to get there. But progress is going to move along much more quickly now, and it needs to, because this needs to get done by Wonderfest. So let's see what's going on in the chat. Let's see. Jet says, "Hi Andrew, I'm watching my favorite YouTube live stream here while I work on a video edit. Please entertain me." Well, I don't know how you can watch more than one live stream at a time. That you're watching that and you're watching mine. That's pretty cool. Hopefully you can keep an eye on all of that. Let's see. And Jet also says, "Hi Todd Lee." And Todd says, "Hey James." So I've got an ear listening into some rather important stuff going on in our nation at the moment, because there's lots of breaking news. So I'm doing a live stream while I'm paying attention to see what's going on. Our prime minister, such as he is going to be speaking here in a few moments. So I'm going to kind of be paying attention to that just to hear what's going on while I am doing my live stream. But should not affect what you guys are doing. Just you'll see that I've got that in my ear, and if I seem distracted, it might just be because I'm kind of listening into that. So, all right, we are going to be looking at what I've done with the pylons. Let me grab on the pylons because I want to show you some of the lighting that's going on in there. So far, I have the 0402 SMDs installed for the tail lights on the pylon section at the back, where there are two lights, two red lights top and bottom and two green top and bottom. A lot of times people building the Enterprise D, they'll stick one in, be done with it, but that's not the way it looks like on the studio model. I will pull up some studio model photographs here so that you can see what's going on. Let me just grab those. I should have had them ready to go, but I didn't. So here we go. Reference photos. Let's go with Todd's photos because I think Todd has a good reference photo here. We're going with Star Drive detail. And okay, I think this is the picture that I need. It's going up on the wrong screen. Let me get it over where it needs to be so that you guys can see this. All right, let's put this over here. So we are reproducing the double tail fin lights that are going on here. So there's top and bottom, top and bottom. Let me see if I can find the other one that really shows that it's top and bottom, because you get a little bit of the top up view. That might be in a different folder. Is this? No, that's too zoomed in. Oh well, I will find that. Yeah, I'm not sure where it is off the top of my head, but that's basically this. This is what we're reproducing. You've got one on the top, one on the bottom for each side. So let me grab that, bring it over the bench. I'm going to bring the power for it as well, so that we'll plug it in. You'll get to see that portion of it lit up. All right, let's see. Oh, I just dropped my breadboard, which pulled all of the 0402 SMDs out of the breadboard. Not out of the ship, out of the breadboard. They're really well secured into the ship. So let's switch over to the bench view, and then I am going to take a quick peek at the chat. Let's see. Let's see. PJ Lewis, welcome to the stream. Hey, Andrew and everyone in chat. I'm watching here and the GT car racing in Bathurst, Australia. Cool. Multitasking. People saying hello to everybody. Dash saying there are 4 lights. There are indeed 4 lights. There are 4 lights at the back of the Enterprise D, not 2. And I've got to say, it was actually decently easy to get the 4 lights in there. So I'm not sure why some people are opting not to do that. Let's see. Jet says, you should congratulate me. I'm biting my tongue as hard as I can not to say anything political right now. Hopefully we can all just ignore it. Yeah, well, I'm going to be staying well informed. Dash says, I'm going to need to get some reference pictures on the NX-01. Yeah, the problem is it's not a studio model, right? The NX-01 was not a studio model. It was only CG. So whatever reference photos you get are basically going to be renders of the studio CG model. So, and renders are... how do I say this? Renders are subject to how they are rendered out, how they are lighted, and a whole lot of other factors. Where a studio model is a studio model is a studio model. You might get different studio lighting conditions, but that's pretty much it. A digital model is dependent a lot on how it is rendered out. All right, so those are plugged in, and let's see what I can do here. Dash also says, congrats for biting your tongue, whatever that is. Yeah, okay. Let's get this plugged in, get some power on it, and it lights up. And we've got top and bottom. I'm going to try to do something here. Let me switch over to this camera because it may handle the lighting better. Let me lift it up and see if it's going to show you that lighting a little bit better. Well, you can see the top and bottom on the red. The green's a little hard to see, but you can see the top and the red really shows up. Then again, I've got it covered a little bit. You can see that a little bit, but the green is a lot harder to see. The red really shows up how you've got those two, and they are right on the edge, kind of like what the studio model looks like. So I'm really happy with how those have turned out. I need to flip this around again. Oh, there we go. Let me switch back to the desk view here. Put myself back in the corner where I belong. There we go. So both are done this way. I'm really happy with how that turned out. William Nelson is here saying hello, everyone. Hello, William. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Dash says, well, I'm guessing the NX-01 was more steel-plated versus the gray from what I'm thinking. It's definitely a more metallic look on it. That is for sure. Let's see. Jet says, do you guys use Future on your models before you put your decals on? I do not put floor polish on my models. And I don't think we get the same thing up here in Canada. I think there might be an equivalent, but I don't think it's called that. I put a standard clear coat on. I don't use the Futura stuff. Let's see. And Dash says, I can see the lights, but it's hard to see on the camera that there's two lights versus probably how you can see it in person. Yeah, they always get blown out a little bit on camera, but yeah, let me see. Yeah, they definitely don't show up very well on this camera, but on the other camera, the red, you can see how it is the two separate lights. So yeah, really happy with how that turned out. And I'm not really sure why you wouldn't want to do this and have it look like it looks on the studio model. So what we need to do now is I'm going to need to get these wires nailed down. Well, not nailed down, but secured down. I'm also going to need to start getting ready to mount the these are the pylons. I need to get ready to mount the nacelles on top of the pylons, which means I need to start looking at running the wiring in here. So we're going to get started running the wiring, and then we're going to look at, actually, let me just get the breadboard out of the way. I'll bring it back if I need it. It's just taking up some space. So what we need to do is grab some wiring, the wiring that we're going to need for going up into the pylons, and it's going to go in the trough right here. So let me grab the wiring we're going to use. Here we go. So 30 gauge, we've got red and black for power, blue for data. And I also have white here. I'm not sure if I'll be using that white for anything, but I do have it. I also have other colors, just not in the quantities that I have here. So I do have green. What other colors do I have? So I also have elastics, but I have green, purple, yellow, and orange. Now, do I have enough green to use green as the data? I think I do, because standard coloring is that green would be the data color. So let me pull this out and see if I can work with that. Or I might just go with the blue. You know what? Going with the blue is going to be a little easier. I don't really want to deal with that at the moment. So we'll go blue for data. Blue for data will work. Oh, I also have brown in there. All right, so here is what we're going to do. Yes. Hello, Steph MTL. There are indeed 4 lights. And if this was the HTM stream, there would be the sound effect for it, but I don't have it on here. I also don't want to risk getting the strike on it. So this is how we are going to. Actually, let's see. Todd says maybe white for data, blue and black can be hard to distinguish in low light. Sure. Sure. White definitely would make for a stark contrast. Let's see. Okay. So if we're going to use white, we will use white. That's probably not a bad idea. Let me get that off the screen there. All right. So what we are going to do is we are going to start by running the wiring we are going to need for the pylons. Now, this is going to be a little bit different than what maybe you would typically do with, say, a tenant controls board or something like that, where you'd be running your individual circuits up. We are going to be running power up, and we are going to be running separate line for the flashers on the back. So 2 power, 2 for the flashers, and then we are going to be running 1 data in to one of the nacelles. We're going to be running a data across to the other nacelle, and then we're going to be running a data out of the nacelle so that we can bring it into the loop, because I don't think the warp engines are going to be the last thing in the loop. And I could split the data going to the 2 nacelles, but I've got enough room to run the wiring, and if we do it this way, we can actually independently control the nacelles. I'm not sure why you would want to independently control the nacelles. You could have one glowing blue and the other glowing purple or red or green or whatever. You could have one Buzzard yellow and the other could be teal. I don't know, but if we do it this way, we actually could independently control each individual nacelle. So let's get this wiring sorted out. We're going to want to have plenty of wire in the nacelles to work with. We can always trim off extra wiring that we don't need, but I would rather have a lot extra and cut it off and trim it off than not have enough and having to be patching it all together all over the time. So, you know what? White is going to blend in way too much with the actual plastic, with the resin. So let's not use that. The blue and the black are different enough, I think, that we're not going to have a problem. I don't know how much you can see on camera, but I don't think we're going to have too much of an issue there. I do have yellow. Here, let me pull out the colors again. So we're not using brown, but I have brown. We've got purple, yellow. I have less of the yellow for some reason. Orange. Orange is nice and bright. $155 billion worth of American goods we are going to be applying a 25% tariff on to the States. I don't know what those are yet, but there you go. You heard it here first, folks. There we go. This is a mess. If I use the green, so here's the thing. Green is the color for, like, the generally accepted color for data. So that would make sense to go with the green. But my green is an absolute mess here. And if I use it, I will have to sort it out. But I think we're going to go with the green. I think I've decided. We are going to go with the green. So let's put all of this away. All right. Okay. Let me find this out. Let's see. So Todd said yellow. Dash said, what about yellow? And Trek Mods is here. Welcome, Jody. Ahoy, 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 gents, he says. There we go. Woo! So they're talking about cutting off your critical minerals and energy. New York State gets a lot of its electricity from us. see. This is a mess. We'll sort this out as we get the wiring cut off of this. Here we go. Do it. Tariffs are stupid. Well, they are. There's an expression, and hold on. There's an expression. I'm not going to quote it in its original language, but roughly translated, it says something like "mess with us and you'll find out." So I think that's what we're looking at here. I don't like that piece. There was a bit of a defect in it. I'm going to check this out. There you go. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece. This is going to be the piece that goes from nacelle to nacelle. And I want to make sure that I have more than enough. Like I said, I can cut off a bunch. And I'd rather have much more than I need and waste some than not have enough and have a hassle of a time working with it. So, okay. Oh, I'm leaving comments on the screen. It's a free service I provide. All right, so there's this piece that will go across. Then we're going to take a piece roughly the same size. Actually, we're going to take it a little bit longer. And then we're going to cut it in half. There we go. Oh, check it, make sure it's good. Looks good. There we go. So we are going to have the data line going up or down to and from the nacelles, going up like this. So we're going to have one piece going all the way across from nacelle to nacelle, and then we're going to have one going up and down on either side. Now, this piece I'm going to use to size up my power and my so my positive and negative on power. And then I guess I should probably use a different color for this, for the different colors for the strobing circuit, which I think I'll go with the blue and the white for the strobing circuit. So, all right, here we go. Okay, one for each side. There we go. We're going to grab the black. Going to get rid of the little kink section there. Go with the best bit of wire I can. There's negative power. I mean, like the negative side, ground. Here we go. That one for that side. Oh, and I'm gonna need double of everything, aren't I? So I might as well cut that now. Double of everything, because I have the other pylon to do. Here we go. All right. I'm done with that. Let's take this out. I got the gist of what's going on, which is good. So I just thought that I need to do both pylons, so I should cut both the wire for both pylons at the same time. While I'm doing it, since I've got my measuring wire here, while I'm doing that, what is everybody working on tonight while you are watching my stream? So what's everybody working on tonight? What are you guys here doing while you are watching? I'm gonna need double the green. Oh, I've got to sort out the green. There we go. Where's the end? So, wire. No matter what you do with wire, unless it's spooled like this, no matter what you do with wire, somehow it's always going to revert to its natural state of tangledness. I don't get it. But no matter how you treat it, it is always going to revert to its natural state of chaos. It's like a rule. Put this over here. Let's see. Alex here and says, "Hi Andrew, I'm a bit late hopping on, and I am at work now." Well, enjoy the rest of your evening at work. Thanks for stopping by for however long you can. Great to have you here. All right, let's put this one down, get a replacement, a second long stretch here. And we got super chat from Dash saying, "I'm working on going home and then work on my Shelby model, then Infinity Gauntlet. If it goes well, have some Earl Grey." Nice. Oh yes, tonight I do have my tea, Earl Grey, hot, still in the Spock-inspired science officer tea mug, because my Enterprise D teacups are not here yet. I'm not sure where they are, but I think it might have also been a pre-order type of deal. So thank you, Dash, for the $9.99 super chat. Very much appreciate it. And Todd says, "Did you get your new cups?" No, they have not arrived yet. So I'm not sure if they were available for shipping yet or if it was pre-order. It was kind of a little unclear on Master Replica's website when I ordered them. And they're using an app, a separate app for tracking. And I was kind of hoping to avoid downloading their special app just so that I could track my packages, but it looks like I might need to do that. Why? Oh, why? They couldn't just give me a traditional tracking number? I don't know. But they want you to download a specific app in order to track your package. And like I said, I was hoping not to do that, but I might end up having to do that. We'll see. All right, Dash says, "With tax, you'll get 99 cents Canadian." No, actually, I think as a Canadian, I think I get I net better than you would in the States, I think. I definitely don't pay this, like, two, and then I need another two. I certainly don't pay the American tax. And when you're setting up, there's a special thing you have to do so that you don't have to pay the American tax on YouTube. Took a little bit just to figure out, just because it's not intuitive what you have to do. You have to figure it out and sort it out, but that's fine. All right, and we'll get the blue for, where did I put the blue? Back here. I think I mentioned it. I'm going to use white and blue for the flasher circuit, just to keep it separate. I'll use the white as the positive, and I'll use the blue as the negative. The brighter color for positive, the darker color for negative. 1, 2. And this is for the 0402s that'll be used for the flashers in the back of the nacelle. Everything else in the nacelles is going to be addressable LEDs. The flashers are going to be 0402 SMDs, but they're going to be controlled by an expansion board, which essentially then treats that circuit as one addressable LED, which is kind of cool. And I do have to sort all that stuff out. But right now, I'm just getting the wiring installed, because basically what I'm going to do next here is start building the ship from the bottom up. And the first step on that is going to be to get at least the bottom portion of the pylons the bottom portion of the nacelles mounted onto the pylons. And then I will build in all of the electronics into that bottom piece of the nacelle before closing it all off. All right, there. I think I've got all of the pieces of wire I need to do this cut. And so I'm going to take this mess and put it with the other pylon. The other pylon's just on another desk back there. And we're going to get this in place. Let's see. And Dash says, by the way, massage that like button if you would like to. That's awesome. Alex said, remind me, I can ask Helios for only what they have on their website or commission any model kit. That you would need to talk to Helios about. I don't really know. If you are wanting to buy a kit, then they have the, I think it's right now, it's the Enterprise D, the NX01, and the Excelsior/Enterprise B. I'm sure that if you ask what kits they have available, they'll be able to let you know, because they're not posting their kits on their website. You know, Paramount, CBS, all that stuff, they're not posting their kits on their website. So you would need to ask about that stuff. Let's see here. Dash says, just what they have on their website, but they might not do them anymore based on interest, any production runs. All you can do is ask. They might not reply back right away. Yeah, and they're keep in mind they are in Germany, so there is a time dilation effect there, right? Time zones are a thing, so you're very likely if you're messaging them in the evening or something like that, they're sleeping. So make sure that you keep that in mind. And yeah, sometimes it can take a little while to hear back. Depends on their volume of communications, I think. So what I'm going to do, find the center of this. I need to like keep all this stuff back here. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to keep all the wiring together. I was thinking about running the through line behind the metal support, but the problem is if I do that, just keep that there, and I need some tape. If I do that, it's coming up separate into the pylon, and I want to keep all the wires coming in and out of the pylon in the same spot. Let's see. Dash says they are a garage kit group, not like Round 2 or big companies. Yeah. So they are essentially a garage kit manufacturer. The only difference is that they are farming out the actual work of producing the kits to a factory in China somewhere. So that's the main difference. All right. I'm just going to loosely run this here. And we will secure all this wiring down permanently. Oh, well, that's not going to stick, but that's okay. So I'm going to do, I need a, so this wire going across all the way is the through line from pylon, from nacelle to nacelle. Now let me get my other wires. Kind of grouped together here. Like this. And we're going to, let's see here. That should be enough on both ends. Wire is connected to my, or wire was stuck on my scissors. The biggest problem I have with this, oh, like there's so much space for wiring. It's beautiful. So much space for wiring. I love it. Or as Newfie say, I loves it. You gotta loves it when there's lots of space for your wires and you're not fighting to get them in. Okay. I don't even have to worry about making sure that they're super flat in there because there's just the luxury of space. It's amazing. I am gonna try to do my best to keep them relatively flat in here. Or not. I mean, I don't need to, and there's no reason for me to keep them flat in here, other than my own CDO tendencies. mean, I guess all that really matters is that they're below the surface. As long as these wires are all below the surface, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to use a little bit of solar res like glue, because it's just so quick. And of course, this is when the solar res bottle takes the opportunity to clog on me. Let's see. Alex says, I see. I honestly hope that either them or Horner make a 1-350 Titan or Stargazer someday, or maybe round 2 does that. Yeah, I don't think you'll see round 2 doing a 350 Titan or Stargazer. That would be big, I think. For those, you would be better to look at seeing if Horner would do a custom scale print for you. Alec also says, or just a Segan class in 1-350. Something I would love to have is a good lightable constellation class. So Picard Stargazer, essentially, right? I would love to have a really well done, decent sized and lightable constellation class. That would be really nice. I'm just using the solar res to initially tack this stuff down. This stuff's going to be well secured in there as I fill these gaps, but the solar res is just going to work really nicely to tack them down without making me wait forever for epoxy to cure or for kicker to set with CA or something like that I would typically do. This is just going to let me move along in a much quicker fashion. There we go. Trying to at least keep these in some semblance of order. I'm going to have to test the green. I should have marked which one was which, actually. It won't be too hard to tell because they're different lengths. Oh, and I just pulled it out of the... You know what? They're actually not different lengths. Oh, well. But I just pulled it out of the solar res. See, the solar res is not there to keep it in there forever and ever. Amen. It's going to be really well secured in with whatever agent it is I'm using to fill the trench. This is just an initial securing of the wires. Dash says, "Where's your legend for your wiring diagram on colors?" Yeah, there's not going to be enough colors in this to have to worry about it. Red and black are power. Blue and white are strobe. And green is data. That's going to be incredibly easy to remember. Unlike the Enterprise E projects, where each effect is essentially its own circuit. And if Danny is here lurking, he probably got a good laugh out of that. But I'll be able to tell pretty quickly which wire is the through wire. I'll just run a test on it. It's kind of nice to be at the point where I'm putting in wiring. Feels like that's been a long time coming. With all the R&D that's been required on this project. I think my UV light needs a good charge. It's starting to get a little faint. There we go. And let's see. This one's slightly longer. This green one's slightly longer. So I'm going to assume that's the one we're looking for. I'm just going to run a bit of a test. Run a circuit through it and see. There we go. Just grabbed a white LED. And I'm going to stick it in my breadboard here. Wait. I always forget. Somebody tell me the long lead. The long lead is positive or negative. I always get this messed up, and I always have to look it up. LED lead difference. No, that's not giving. What are those things called? What are the pieces on that called? LED. Okay, so the long is the positive. Got it. I have to look that up every single time. Every single time. Anoid, thank you. The long one is positive. Yes, thank you. Yeah, like I always have to look it up. So if this is right, then I'm going to throw this in the negative side. Of the breadboard. This goes in here, and we get light. Okay. So that is the correct one. I'm going to grab a Sharpie right here on my desk. And I'm just going to mark that as the one going across. And then I'm going to mark this one as well. Because I'm not sure which pylon is going to be first in the chain, but essentially the data is going to go up into the nacelle through the LEDs. It'll come back down across up to the other up to the other nacelle through the LEDs and then back down. So I just need to make sure that I have the data cables straight there. I suppose I could have put the crossfeed one in a different color. That might have made more sense, but it is what it is now. There we go. Let's throw this back over here. Let's see. Dash says, just remember negative is always short. Todd says, if the leads are the same length, look inside the LED. Minus the bucket or anvil is always negative. Negative side usually has a flat edge on round LEDs as well. Devin's here. Welcome, Devin. Hey, Andrew. Sorry I'm late. Discovered all the clips I recorded were garbage, crap, whatever. Good thing the E hasn't been shipped out yet. Oh, no. So you mean all the clips you filmed of the finished product were corrupted or something? You gotta hate when that happens. Glad you're able to refilm that before it goes out. It's like in AC power, brass is black, silver is white, and green is ground. All right. I feel like either my camera is moving up a little bit or my chair shrunk a little bit because I feel like my head is a little bit too short on the frame. Oh well. All right, let's get the other side wiring installed. The red is super curly. I don't know why it does that. Makes it fun to work with since all the other wire isn't quite so bad. The blue is a little bit that way. Nowhere near as bad as the red. All Devin says they were all super grainy, still learning how light works. Was it video, or was it pictures that you were doing? Talking about video, I am looking at possibly getting a stock footage subscription. There's a few things that I need stock footage for. So if anybody has recommendations on stock footage, as in good, reliable stock footage providers, subscriptions, let me know what they are. Because I've got a couple projects that I might need stock footage for, or might be very difficult to do if I don't have access to stock footage, which I have a license to use on YouTube. So if you know, let me know. And I've left Devin's comment up on the screen. Again, that's a service, a free service I provide when I don't have a producer. Where's my mouse? Here's my mouse. Let me take that off. Devin also says, video, the pictures came out stunning, which is why I know the problem is user error. Yeah, an EU error. Yeah, I've had some situations where I've had to redo clips and stuff like that because I've overlooked something on the camera, the settings. I have had to completely refilm a video at work. Basically a talking head video with my boss. Because the camera decided to film everything in slow-mo. And because it was done on the camera and the audio is recorded separately, there was no way I was going to be able to digitally alter the speed, digitally alter the playback speed, and match it with the audio. So we had to refilm the whole thing. I've also done videos where all of the audio is just corrupt and seems to drop digital packets. And so one, it sounds distorted throughout, and two, you lose time. So the audio ends up being shorter than the video. So I've had that happen at least 2 times on me. And then there's everyone's favorite. I forgot to turn on the microphone, which has happened to me a couple times as well. The joys of being a content creator. Devin says, the video settings on my DSLR doesn't allow for much control over exposure. I know the camera best in manual mode. Yeah. Well, DSLRs are best at photography. So there are photography cameras that will also do video. The Blackmagic design cameras are awesome. Are also awesome for filming video, but are not great for photography. Yeah, we always try to use them for everything, right? For most of my personal YouTube content, I've just gone to using my iPhone. All right. That's some work done. Oh. I need another little dab in here because the black wire came free. Alex says, how are the cameras like the OBS bot robotic tracking cameras? You know what? This is a model building channel, not a camera channel. I couldn't tell you at all. That would be a good comment for the HTM channel that is about what's it called? Vlog something or other. Vlog gear or I'm just vlog tech. There's a channel on HTM vlog tech. That would be a good place to ask that question. All right. Wires in. More or less. Now it's time for round 2. The second go at this, not the modeling company. All right. Here we go. Now, before we get started, I'm gonna mark the big long one. So I don't forget which one it is. There we go. That's marked. Devin says, my 2020 Android takes great pictures. I just much prefer the feel of a camera body and control over things. Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. At some point down the road, once all of the current projects are done, off the bench, have been paid for, I I do plan on upgrading my camera gear, because this camera is actually an old iPhone 11, and I mean, it's got its limitations, but it's the camera I have for overhead shots, so it's perfect because it is the camera I have. Sometimes the best camera is just the camera you have. But I would like to go with the Blackmagic Design Micro, I think it is. That's not holding. I'm going to need a new piece of tape. I'm going to need to recenter that as well. What is it called? I am now going to look it up because it's going to bug me if I don't. Blackmagic Design Micro Studio Camera. Yeah, Micro Studio Camera. That's what it is. So I would like a Micro Studio Camera to be my overhead camera, because it'll have all of the wonderful image stabilizations and color science and everything that the other ones do. The downside to the Micro Studio is that there's no onboard screen or anything like that, so you can't. It's not really a good primary camera if you don't have another screen to view, like setting up shots and stuff like that. So, all right. Let's get the other wires ready to install. Jet says, I'm so grateful for spell check. I think I will go to my grave not knowing how to spell camouflage. Yeah, camouflage. Another good one would be congratulations. Does anybody actually know how to spell congratulations? Because most people just say congrats. All right. The red wire really is super curly and just gets in the way. Devin says silhouette. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Are you talking about a silhouette cutter? I'm not sure what the context of that comment is. And Todd says, I always want to put a congratulations. Why is there no D? Well, there's some pronunciations of words that don't make any, that a lot of people use, that don't make any sense to the way that the word is spelt. Like, take the word. Actually, I can't do that right now. Take the word. Take that word. To me, and it's probably my British upbringing, that word is garage. It's garage, which makes complete sense when you look at the word. But what do most people say? Most people say something like that. Garage. Garage. I mean, makes no sense. Am I British? No, I am not British, but my mother is. Came over to Canada when she was 18. My grandfather was a broad Yorkshireman. Came over to Canada in the 70s to run a textile plant. And he kept his broad Yorkshire accent. And so there's pronunciations of words that I have picked up because of my family heritage and how I grew up listening to words being pronounced, like garage. My grandparents, so we didn't have a garage. Oh, we had a garage, but our garage was a woodworking shop, and my dad's garage still is a professional woodworking shop. And so the garage at our house growing up was always the shop, because it was the shop, right? But so the only garage I was around were my grandparents' garage, and they called it a garage, where they parked their carriage. Makes sense, right? No, they didn't have a carriage. They had a car. Let's see. Devin says that word is always impossible to spell. Jet says Wednesday is another one that's difficult to spell without checking. Wednesday, yeah. February. And actually, I pronounce February often with that R in there. February. Jet says, I did unlock recently one word that was giving me difficulty. All these years, I can now spell lacquer with no problem. Yeah. There's words you find. I'm not sure how you're pronouncing that, but a lot of people pronounce garage. Maybe the way most people pronounce it should be spelled G-E-R-A-U-G-E. Something like that is how it might be phonetically pronounced in North America. Garage, gur, as in like grrr, like a bear. Garage. I don't know. Why can't we just spell it lacquer? Yeah. Then there's the differences between the right way that we spell things up here in Canada, and then the way that the Americans spell things down there. The Americans are always forgetting to put their U's in their words. But then there's words like check, which is spelt that way, and I don't think Americans spell it that way. Although, we're not going to spell it that way too much longer anyway, because there's virtually no checks here in Canada. We don't use checks anymore. Or at least very rarely do we use checks up here in Canada. Color, flavor, honor, favor, neighbor, all those lovely words where the Americans forget to put their U. But I can't remember what it was, but there's a word that the Americans actually leave the U in, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Devin says, too many extra letters. We like it simple here. I'm going to leave that one alone. Too easy. Keep in mind, we're not too happy with you guys. Us Canadians aren't too happy with you Americans right now. I think we're fixing to come down and burn your White House again. I can't put anything on the screen right now, but because I'm holding this. But Todd says too expensive to print the U. Remove it. Devin says nobody's happy with us, even ourselves. Jet says, oh, don't open that door. And Todd says, hey, I didn't do anything. Don't blame me. I need more pairs of hands here. Actually, tape is my friend. Let's use a piece of tape. I just need to hold the wires down at the end so I can get a little bit of solar res in closer to the end of the pylon. So if I put a piece of tape, you can see that there, right? Sometimes I forget where the camera is. My only concern is making sure that when I put the solar res down, it doesn't sit proud to the surface of the pylon. Oh, yeah. Jet says all you mailed packages to each other just got more. All your mailed packages to each other just got more expensive. No arrow bars for you. Yes, we're gonna keep our arrow bars here in Canada. Dash says we're sending you all our idiotic people. No, thank you. We've got enough of our own. And Trekmon says enjoy your dry pancakes. Yeah, we'll keep all of our maple syrup. Although they do have a decent supply of maple syrup in Vermont. So I'm not sure we're going to be able to deal with it by holding off on our maple syrup. All right. One side done. The other side left to go. Now the power, so the red can be joined with the red, the black can be joined with the black, the white can be joined with the white, and the blue can be joined with the blue. The only ones that can't be joined together here and consolidated are the greens, because it's going to be connected to wherever the data chain is coming from, and then and then it'll be going to another area of the data chain. So I will be able to consolidate these down to one feed for the power. Truckmont says Vermont is already basically Canada. Yeah, Vermont is very nice. Driven through Vermont a number of times. Yeah, we will keep Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Thank you very much. They can be part of Canada. Maine can become the new part of the Maritimes. Jet says, do you guys like kimchi? I've never really tried it, but I just don't think it would be appetizing knowing how it's made. I have no idea what that is. No clue. Devin says, take Washington. I'd gladly join. I'm assuming you're referring to Washington State when you say that. And I've lost a wire. And it's on the floor. Got it. Found it. All right. Get this connected in. Piece of tape. There we go. So much more space to run wiring in this than pretty much any other pylons I've worked with. The running wiring through the Enterprise E pylons is a nightmare. The 1400 scale Enterprise E, because the saving grace is that the pylons are in two halves, but there's no space inside the pylons. You have to be really strategic where you grind out a channel for your wiring, because it's so thin in certain areas there. Jet says, kimchi, a Korean staple. Dash says, that's okay. I got my own sugar maples. I can do my own syrup. Dash says, take California too. I don't think California would fit in very well. Jet says, we're supposed to get our yearly 2 days of snow this weekend, but who knows, probably won't even show up, and then it starts raining probably again. We've actually not had anywhere near our normal amounts of snow this year. It's been a lean year for snow here, which is fine. It just means I don't have to shovel it. It's also meant that I could be outside. I mean, cold, but I could more easily be outside grinding these things down outside and keeping all that mess outside. I did it just outside of our front door on our front kind of step area because we've got an electrical outlet there that I could plug the Dremel in, because I've just been using I don't have a proper angle grinder or anything like that, which I really need to invest in if I'm going to be doing more of these large scale projects. But we've got an outlet near our front steps, and so I could plug it in. Looked the other day, and I wondered what this stain was on the walkway. Then I realized I was grinding down steel. It's all the particles of steel that landed on the ground, then rusted. So yeah, it was kind of funny to see that. I mean, no problem with it. Just took me a moment to realize what it was I was looking at. Let's see. Devin says, on my E, I had the perfect channel carved and I sealed up everything only to break the ground wire. Had to carve on the outside. Oh no. You know, stuff happens when you're building models. It doesn't always go exactly the way you want it to. And that's part of the journey, part of the challenge. Figuring out how to solve those problems. It's all part of the journey. Jet says it's amazing some people are such deniers of climate change. Alex says, if you guys keep talking about snow, you're bound to jinx it and get a bad snowstorm tenfold. So be careful how many times you mention it. Snow, 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 snow. I'm Canadian. It would take an awful lot to have a bad snowstorm. Or a snowstorm that we cannot handle. Two years ago, Christmas Eve, we got like 3 feet of snow. I thought I had pictures because I was going to show pictures one night on the stream when we were talking about it. But I don't currently have a functioning snowblower. And even if I did, I don't know where I would store it because I'm not keeping it in my workspace. So I had to shovel out. So literally, I shoveled out Christmas Eve enough to be able to get out. Or, well, I started Christmas Eve. But I ended up doing the majority of the shoveling Christmas Day. I was probably shoveling for about 3 hours or so to clear the driveway. It was an unusual amount of snow to get all at once. And that's the key. All at once. We typically get, that amount of snow on the ground. It's just the all at once that can cause the problems, right? All right. So close to being done this little job. Let's see. Dash says 10 inches of snow equals 1 inch of water. We get 1.4 inches of rain yesterday in Michigan, so I got mud. Jet says, I used to walk a mile with snow up to my hips in the winter when I was a kid. A mile to school. Yeah, uphill both ways. No, that's not Russ. That's just Ian visiting you. Todd says, born in Minnesota, left pretty early on. Jet says, it's funny how kids, they don't have the same experience like I did walking home from school. Is where most of the action was. Now they just get picked up in a car. Well, I didn't. I had to. I had to take school bus because we were rural. We were rural. Rural. We were rural. We were rural. That's a tongue twister to say. We were rural. And way too far to walk to get to school. I was a good, depending on which school I was at, because I switched schools a few times, due to joining the French immersion program. As we do here. That's not going to work. Just a minute. I am just troubleshooting on the fly here. Working with fewer hands than I need at the moment. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So depending on which school I was at, my bus ride would have either been 40 minutes or up to an hour each way. Here we go. The wire, all the wires for the pylons are preliminarily installed. They're not, I mean, I could easily rip these out if I needed to. So I won't say that they are permanently installed, but they are preliminarily installed. And so I will consolidate, red to red, black to black, blue to blue, white to white, and leave the greens the way they are. That's a little bit of off-camera work. And yeah, that should be lots of wire to work with in the bottom of the pylons. Shouldn't have, I mean, in the bottom of the nacelles. I keep getting pylons and nacelles mixed up, but that should do me well. I'm going to show this to you here. I deliberately let the metal supports go up into the nacelle, because that's going to give me a really good join point for the nacelle to these pylons, because there's nothing provided in the kit. So since I was putting in the metal support, I figured why not make that the main joint support going into the nacelle. Let me get caught up on this chat here quickly. Dash says, snow used to be 6-foot drifts in Michigan in the late 70s, and now we get rain, but Florida gets more snow than us. Yeah. That Christmas Eve 2 years ago, I go back to that because that's probably our biggest dump of one time, like all at once dump of snow we've had in a number of years. There was a house, probably 3 houses down from us, and it was crazy. We got it wasn't just the snow that we got, but it was also the wind that came with it. If you were on our side of the street, you were just dumped on, and it piled up in the snow drifts. Like, our cars were covered in snow drifts. And there was one house, 3 or 4 houses doors down, where our doors, our main entrances, so we're kind of like a split level, like elevated bungalow. That's what I'm looking for. That, but is sitting on grade. So my workspace in the garage here is sitting on grade. And we've got like a family room and a basement, but our basement is on grade. And then we've got the second level on top. And so our main entrance is kind of halfway between the two levels. And we've got steps that go up. But the snow that got blown in a drift completely, like, just went all the way up the stairs. And their entire front door was covered. So if they opened their door, they weren't getting out because it was just fully covered. On the other side of the street, they hardly had to shovel because the wind took all the snow from the other side of the street and just piled it up against our houses. Probably my biggest dig out I've had to do in a very long time. Devin says, at least your address wasn't rural Route 1. No, it was rural Route 3 growing up. RR3, rural Route 3. Yeah, we didn't. It wasn't until I was in high school that we started to get like street addresses in the rural areas. And they did that because they were bringing like full 911 coverage, and 911 coverage required a physical like house address, not just a rural route. Some side streets weren't even named. So there's a highway that goes out of the city here, and it's just like a two single lane each direction kind of rural highway kind of a deal, not like our 401 or something like that. But there are side roads off of that highway that I'm pretty sure were named, that were previously unnamed when the whole 911 system came in its entirety. And I'm sure that it was a music fan that named them, because I don't know if the Americans, like, I can't remember if this is an American channel or it's a Canadian channel, but one of the streets is called Much More, as in like much more music. So the road is called Much More. And not too far from that is a side road called Back Street. And I can't not say like Back Street's back. All right, when I drive past that, I can't not do that. So I'm pretty sure that it was like somebody that liked popular music at the time who named those side roads, because there's a few of them in there. But those are the ones that I remember the most. And we've got a picture in Discord from Dash of a bunch of snow. Let's see. Dash says, James, now we have people who get the kids off the bus in the car only 150 feet from the house. Talk about lazy. I have to do the bus pickup, but the bus pickup's pretty much right at our driveway, so we don't have to worry about that too much. Alex says, hey Andrew, do you pronounce the L in solder or in solder or no? We in America apparently ignore it. Solder? I don't say solder. As far as I'm concerned, the L has always been silent, but that's probably American influence. Let's see. Devin says, not up here in WA state. Solder. What is WA? I'm not sure which one that is. Oh, is that Washington? I don't know all the state abbreviations. Dash says, oh, here we go again with word pronunciation, pronouncements. Roof, woof. Let's see. Dash says, but you got to do this a second time, correct? You're doing 2Ds? Yeah, this is the second one. This is the second of the two. Devin says, wait, 3? That's funny. I was referencing a comedian's sketch about not being able to pronounce rural. Devolved into near barking near the end there, yeah. RR2 for me. Jody says we didn't get cable TV until I was 18. Yeah, we had the antenna on the house. We had the antenna on the house. We also had bunny ears for a little while there. Washington. Root and root. Yeah, ROUTE for root. All right. Whew. Excuse me for a moment while I yawn on stream. All right. This is looking a little bit Frankensteinish with all the exposed wires, but what I think I'm going to do is, and I'm not talking about what I'm going to do next, but what I think I'm going to do when it comes to sealing all this in is I'm going to fill over top of, like, I'm going to fill these conduits, and I'm going to fill in as much as I can and smooth out and do all the patchwork on the pylons and see if I can get it blended really, really well. If it's not looking as nice as I want it to, then I may go and install the thin piece of styrene over the top. So if there's if there's blemishes in the work, if it's not looking right once it's primed, if I can't get it to look right, then I will probably go and put a very thin piece of styrene over the top just to smooth it all out, because we want it to be as smooth as an Android's bottom. That's what we want. Now, the blowout panels will cover a bunch of this, especially this line here. I can't remember just how far forward they come, but the blowout panels, let me grab the reference photos here and show you what I'm talking about, because here I am just assuming that you know exactly what I'm talking about, and maybe you don't. So I'm defaulting to Todd's photos here. What's a good... Excuse me, I'm yawning again. Looks good. That looks good. All right. Yeah, they might be a little bit too far forward to cover everything. So let me throw this up on the screen here. All right. So what I'm talking about by the blowout panels are these sections right here. Typically, if you are doing a 1400D and you're lighting it, the generally accepted approach is to trench out under this section and then put photo etch pieces over top to cover that. But I have resin pieces to go on here. Looking at how Phil's and how Lou's resin pieces went down over here, I'm not sure I want to use them because they really had some issues getting them to sit down flush. I might be tempted to go with a couple layers of vinyl there. And so design it up and print it out on the Cameo 4 and just do a couple layers of vinyl as the detail there. I think that would be enough to give it the look without it being too overbearing. And I kind of got the sense that one, the resin piece is a little bit overbearing, and two, looked really, really difficult to get it to sit flat. So that's something I'm considering there. But the panel will definitely cover at least the front section of where the support's going in. So that's going to be a benefit, at least that portion of it's going to be covered. All right, let's get back here. Yeah, because you can see just how it doesn't really go that far forward here. and it goes a fair bit back. So I know I won't be able to cover everything with the blowout cover, but at least this deep channel here will be fully covered with that. So that's good. Dash says the city kids ridicule me for not having cable, and I said we'd be lucky if we would have it in 10 years. And I get home, and my mom said they were getting cable through the township that summer. That's good timing. Yeah, I remember when we first got cable. I think we first got cable would have had to have been probably 86 or 87, somewhere around there. And then it was just like, it was like the rough kind of cable, right? And internet, obviously internet didn't go to public accessibility, like mainstream public accessibility, till 94, I think it was. And so most of my high school, we didn't have internet. We didn't really get internet at home till probably at least halfway through high school, if not a little bit later. And of course, it was like 28.8. It was really bad. And 28.8 was the fastest dial-up we could get because our phone lines were terrible. Absolutely terrible. It would make Ken's old internet look like light speed compared. All right. How are we doing on time? Do I want to get started on anything else? We only have about 12 minutes left in the stream. I don't know that I really want to get started on anything else. You know what I need? And it's definitely showing itself here. I definitely at some point need to get wire strippers that work really well on this 30 gauge wire. Because the wire strippers I have don't work very well on the 30 gauge wire. Yeah. What I can get done though is I can secure down the rest of this wiring, do the initial secure down of the 0402 SMD wiring, throw a little bit of solar res on there. Just to keep it in place again. This will all get puttied in. Let's see. Jet Scale Model says, oops, fishing for someone to buy him some wire cutters. No. I'll take recommendations. I'll take recommendations for wire cutters that work really well. Just says allowed to make jokes in your chat. Yeah. There we go. One of the little wires didn't quite get secured down, so I'm gonna have to do this again. go. Let's see. Dash says, what do you think the hardest part about getting the TOS refit done? Is it lighting, putting the model together, or painting it? The TOS. So the refit enterprise from the motion picture et al. I couldn't tell you because I've never built the thing. I've got 2 of them in boxes sitting back there, but I've never actually built the thing. Based on everything I know about the kit, if I had to guess, I would say that one of the challenging things on it is getting, if you are installing the shuttle bay, is to get the shuttle bay to fit. I've heard that the shuttle bay does not fit in properly. Jet says, fun stream, and remember, from a single LED, a Starship is born. There we go. And might as well get those secured down a little bit better on the other one too. The biggest reason why I have yet to build a refit is because too many people have already built it. And there's too many build series on it on YouTube. And since I do everything with the intention of content creation, I don't. My first go-tos would not be to do a project that's already been super saturated on YouTube, because there's no benefit to me channel-wise to do that. And this might be heresy, but the refit isn't my favorite chip. So I'm also not overly drawn to doing it. I'm sure that comment will trigger some modeler somewhere. I kind of thought I'd get a little bit more work done tonight than I did. But that's okay. I got work done. That's the important thing. And Jody says, you can like whatever ship you wish. Not my favorite either. Yeah, well, so my criteria for deciding what I build, unless of course I'm building a commission build, but even my criteria for accepting a commission build is it going to be good content for the YouTube channel? And secondarily, is it a subject matter that I will enjoy building? So those are my two primary qualifications for taking on a build. Will it be good for my channel? And so will it be good for my channel? And am I interested in the subject matter? So I will prioritize projects that are ships that I particularly enjoy and like. Oh, we got a stray. We got an escapee. Oop. There we go. I got a new mouse. My old one was dying. I've got to say, this is the nicest mouse I've used in a very long time. It's super quiet. The roller is super quiet. It's Bluetooth, but it's also USB. I didn't know that existed. And I kind of like the color scheme, but once I got it, I realized it looks like a Strange New Worlds medical officer uniform. It's got that slightly light gray on the sides with the curves and the white and stuff like that. So I can't stop thinking that it looks like a Strange New Worlds medical officer uniform every time I look at it now. All right, there we go. I think that is a good little chunk of work to get done on the live stream tonight. And that is going to be all the time that we have for the live stream tonight. So thank you everyone for being here and spending some time joining the chat, keeping me company as I get that wiring put in there. If you've enjoyed the live stream, make sure that you hit that like button. If you're new to my channel or you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button today. It'll make me very happy if you do. But for now, my name is Andrew. This is Canadian Starships. We will be back same time, same station, or I should say same channel, next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, Saturday. Then there will be a couple of weeks coming up soon where there won't be a live stream. But hopefully I will have at least a video or two out before that happens. I'll say hopefully I'll have at least a video out before that happens. Videos on the Enterprise Ds should pick up now that we're through with building the armature, because that just took a lot of time. But for now, my name is Andrew. This is Canadian Starships. Have a great night, everyone.